This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. And, guys, it's just kind of rinse and repeat at this time. It's not really much more you can say. This was a game I felt like determined the rest of the race season, and that might be dramatic with 50 games left, but this was it, and you have the games in your hand, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and you can't shut it down. It's debilitating. I mean, that's the feeling. It is debilitating, and we're going to talk about this heartbreaking loss. We're going to talk about, is the season on the line tomorrow? We're talking about Zack Littell, when probably his last start as a Ray continues to be solid as ever, and we're going to look ahead to the game tomorrow. But first, it's just, like I said, rinse and repeat. You got to talk about the bullpen.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So there's a few things that I gripe with the bullpen. It's Clevenger going in the 6th instead of the 8th. And when he went in, he was facing Stanton and, kind of 5, 6, 7 in the order. So I was confused why he went in there and not in the 8th. So in the 6th, he would face Stanton, Jazz, and Dominguez. I get Dominguez hits worse from the right side, but I would have saved him for, how about the 3 lefties at the top of the order with Grisham, Rice, and Bellinger. That's what I would have saved him for. And obviously you get Baker in that spot. And, when the offense only scores 1 run, they've had multiple opportunities to capitalize throughout the game. And they didn't. The Rays were in control of this game. For a lot of this game, it was 1-0 with Rays 7 hits to the Yankees 2. And the Yankees with 2 errors as well for majority of the game. And the Rays couldn't, capitalize on opportunities. It was Junior getting picked off second. It was Chandler honestly, I know they're taught to do it, but throw up the line. Chandler is twice now, once in Cincinnati, once here. I've just gotten snake bitten trying to steal. And then, obviously Baker does what he does, but, if you give up 2 runs and you've only scored 1, I don't really know how many games you expect to win. You're probably not going to win 1-0 against the Yankees. So I thought it was very admirable the way that Baker bounced back and didn't allow any more runs. And the one, if you think about it, the home run was brutal. The one to Rice was ripped. Bellinger's was soft contact. Giancarlo's was soft contact, and then he cleaned up from there. So, and then let's get to the turning point in the 9th inning.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Well, it starts in the top of the 9th with Josh Lowe hitting one of the biggest home runs of the season. You feel like that's it. It's Pete's coming in with 7, 8, 9, gets the 7th man out, gets to Volpe, and you just cannot allow a home run in that situation. You can't. You're supposed to be a lockdown closer. You are facing one of the worst hitters on the Yankees. It's everything. You're literally facing 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters. So the 9th guy doesn't even know how many outs there is when he steps into the box. It's embarrassing what happened. And look, I know it happens. It was actually a pretty good pitch, but in that moment, with how much this team needed this win, that cannot happen. It can't. And I understand it's baseball. It is what it is. But it is just as it's just as brutal as ever. With all this coming down. So it is just. It was a gut punch, and then the Rays get the run, and I am shocked in the 10th why DeLuca did not bunt there. There's no reason why DeLuca should be swinging, and he strikes out on 4 pitches, and once after that, it's just kind of I thought wraps from there. But shout out to Brandon Lowe and Yandy Diaz putting up incredible at bats, especially Brandon Lowe. That was a very good about working that walk. I mean, you just see already the impact he has from being in the game. So, and then you go to Yandy, who rips a single the other way. And I keep saying to myself, I said to myself right when he hit that. And breaking news, guys, Zack Littell just got traded to the Reds. It kind of crazy. Jeff Passan just reported Zack Littell to the Reds. So went out there and did his thing like only he could do. It's kind of funny that it's right after the game. I mean, they really cannot pick worse timing um, to do that. But yeah, it's another just gut punch. But yeah, look back to the game. I thought it was just ridiculous that the Luka didn't bunt there, and then Brandon Lowe, Yandy Aranda does his job. The Rays take the lead, and then you set on his filthy changeup. Gets Stan to strike out, and then with the way the extra inning rule set up with the ghost runner on second, it is tough if you're the away team to only score one run and expect to win. Then Bellinger gets the triple, and then Uceta gets out of from there. So I mean, Uceta was fantastic again. So you move on to to the 11th, and you get a guy, this Hill guy that comes in, and I get his arm slot, I get all that. At the end of the day, he throws 90 miles an hour right down the middle every single pitch. That's unacceptable. The Rays cannot move they cannot score the runner from second, a given runner from second against that. It's in my opinion unforgivable. And then I actually don't disagree. You have to put Morel there in the top of the 11th. You have to. How he's 5 seconds late on 88 on the outside corner is beyond me. And then you have to go to Kevin Kelly there. There's literally no one else that's available to pitch. And of course he balks. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And then from there, the game was over. I don't know why Eric Orsi is not on this team. I don't know why. Well, I think the reason why Ian Seymour is on this team is now he's going to be the new starter for Littell, either him or Taj Bradley, who had a nice outing in Durham tonight. So, yeah, it's as simple as that for me, guys. And, the gut punches keep coming. You knew that Littell was going to be traded. It's just who else comes. Littell is going to be traded win or lose tonight. Look, there's 50 some odd games left. I'm not going to sit here and act like, the season's over, but, there is little belief to what's going on. Tomorrow is one of the biggest days in recent Rays history to see who's going to stay, who's going to go. For people going, I think Pete Fairbanks might be number one on that list to who's most likely to trade. I'm not saying I want him to go. I'm not saying he is going. Just with the reliever market is what it is. I would not be surprised if he's traded. I think he might even get traded to the Dodgers. And then, you move on from there. I do not think Yandy or Brandon Lowe is going to be traded tomorrow. I don't. I personally do not. I don't think either of them get traded. Then you kind of look at guys like Cabby, if someone's looking for kind of a utility guy like him. But I think the Rays are going to stay exactly where they are. At the end of the day, they're 3.5 back from a playoff spot. Could be 3 if the Mariners lose today. But, now they have to jump. Now they're tied with Cleveland. They're going to have to jump the Rangers, who will be either a half game or a game and a half up. So just a huge missed opportunity tonight for the Rays to be in a spot to win a series tomorrow. I mean, just a fantastic spot to win a series tomorrow. And, now you're going into this stretch already clinching a losing road trip, already 5 losses on this road trip. The best you can do is 2-5 2-5. And, you get the Dodgers at home, then you go out west for 2 weeks. I mean, it is the most brutal part of the Rays schedule. And, it's coming at the worst time. But we're going to talk about, is the season on the line tomorrow? A little bit about Zack Littell. I mean, even though he just got traded. And we're going to look ahead, obviously, to the game tomorrow right after this. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Price actually dropped the closer it gets to showtime. You can save up to 60% off with the killer last-minute deals. I am going to the games in Anaheim to start the Rays West Coast trip next week. Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll be there. And I use Game Time to get my tickets because I saw exactly where I'd be sitting, and it gave me the best price. And I also used the code Locked On MLB for $20 off. So take the guesswork out of buying concert or game tickets or ball game tickets with Game Time. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. This episode is also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this is everyone's hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest. Some days on the course or off it, you need that extra boost to stay sharp. And guys, everyone's been there. I could use a 5-Hour Energy shot right now after that gut punch of a game. So you guys know 5-Hour Energy has been around forever. This is the go-to. And golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors on the course. The grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing it off the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive $20 off your order. The offer is only valid until September 30th. One-on-one order cannot be used with other promotions. This code is not good for other subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Again, guys, if you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a comment down below. Talk about Littell traded the game tomorrow. How much are the Rays going to sell? Go ahead and drop that in. But let's talk about it. Is the season on the line tomorrow? I mean, I firmly believe that if the Rays lose tomorrow, I mean, you have that 2-hour gap from after the Rays lose to, the trade deadline. That kind of greatly impacts. If the Rays lose and the Red Sox and Mariners win again, and they're 4.5 back going into the last, 51 games of the season, I think, they're more apt to trade pieces. I really do. I really, really do. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, what they do going forward. But, we might as well, for the last time, talk about Zack Littell, because, man, I mean, in his last race start, he went out, the way he was going, man, consistent as ever. 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, no runs, battled the walks, tied a career high in walks, but, it didn't, it didn't affect him too much. And I've become a massive fan of Zack Littell, the way that he just goes out there, takes the ball every 5th day, never complains, and just goes out and does his job. I mean, the Reds are getting it going. I'm surprised he went to the Reds. I thought the Cubs might try to grab him. I mean, the Reds are really going for it, even though, I wouldn't favor them to make the playoffs, if I'm being completely honest. I think a very similar spot to the Rays. But, let's look ahead to the game tomorrow and talk about a must-win. I mean, the pitching matchup is such in the Rays' favor. It's Ryan Pepiot versus Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman has straight up not been good this year. He's over 6 ERA. His last time out, gave up 4 runs. He's been better as of late. He's had a few games in there, like against the Braves, 6 innings, 1 run. But this is someone the Rays should be able to take advantage of. And Ryan Pepiot is someone that should, give the Rays a quality start. So, in a game that's a must-win, the Rays turn to their opening day starter. In a game where, he needs to get, Littell or Pepiot has pitched 1 game against the Yankees this season. He went 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts. So a lot of the guys have seen him before, but tomorrow is absolutely a game that they should win, if I'm being honest. Now let's get to the comments. We'll start with Gary. He said, very disappointed out tonight. Everything seemed to be going great. Brandon Lowe back. Josh Lowe hits a clutch home run. The pitching was shutting them down to the 8th inning. Then it got crazy. Got crazy is a perfect way to put it. It is just brutal. As we go to Randy Luxembourg, this team is snake bitten, finds ways to lose. Yeah, exactly. They just can continue to find ways to lose. So again, we can get mad about the bullpen, and rightfully so, but I'm more mad about Fairbanks and am about Baker. Offense is giving you no wiggle room when they only score 1 run, and when they're being gift wrap opportunities to score more. So it is pretty brutal. And then a lot of stuff about Littell being traded. So yeah, it's going to be crazy to see. As we go to Marco, he said, I can see Yandy or Josh Lowe being traded. I don't think Josh Lowe is going to get traded. He has a ton of control left. Same with Yandy. I think if I'm going to pick one between Brandon Lowe or Yandy, who I think is more likely to be traded, I think it's Brandon Lowe, because Yandy has 2 years to control for this compared to just Brandon Lowe's 1. But I think all 3 of those, Brandon Lowe, Josh Lowe, and Yandy, are in the Rays plans for next year. So it's going to be really interesting. Tomorrow's going to be a huge day for the Rays. So Lauren says, Who else do you think will be traded? I really don't know. It's a great question. I think it's either going to one of two ways. I think the Rays might not trade anyone else. If they do, it's going to be minor pieces here and there. Like I would be surprised if the Rays traded Yandy, Brandon Lowe, Josh Lowe, Pete Fairbanks. Like I would be less surprised if they traded Pete Fairbanks and some of the other guys. I don't think Clevenger is going to get traded. I mean, he has 2 years of control after this year as well. So going to be really interesting to see what happens as we go to Don Perez. Why not walk Bellinger there? That is a great question, but the runner's on second with 1 out. I think you trust Uceta there. I see both sides to it because then, you get that extra run on and he's the go-ahead run. So putting the go-ahead run on is never great because let's say Stanton would have hit one of the gap. Then, that would score the 2 instead. So, I see both ways to it, but, I don't love the intentional walk there. You kind of trust Uceta who's been throwing the ball better than anyone. Let's go to Alex again, maybe a first-time commenter. Thanks for the comment. He says, Blue Leaf 3 times. Exactly. It's been the moral of the race story, man. There have been so many times in Minnesota, in Detroit, in Boston, in New York. I mean, 6 games off the top of my head where the Rays probably should have won if it wasn't for blown leads, bad management there, pitchers not showing up, batters not stepping in when need be. So, those games, the Rays are not good enough to kind of turn around. As we go to Matt Blankenship, 2 most hated men in Tampa Bay right now. But do you think Kelly and Morel will get traded? No, I do not think Kevin Kelly will get traded. Morel, maybe. And I think Morel needs to change of scenery. I think both sides need to change of scenery. Ha-Seong Kim gets activated probably on Saturday. Who he comes up for is fascinating. If he's still on the team, he might get traded. Like I think Ha-Seong Kim is the most likely bat to get traded from the Rays, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. So, it's going to be kind of interesting to see. But, as we go to the standings real quick, before we go ahead and get out of here, Seattle is down 2-1 to Sacramento, or I guess just the A's. Texas is tied with the Angels. So the Rays are 3.5 back of Boston. They're tied with the Royals and a half game behind Cleveland. Man, I mean, now they got to jump 3 teams just to get in there. And if the Angels win, they'll be tied with them. Oh my gosh, guys! I mean, there is a real chance that the Rays could be sellers tomorrow, but. At the worst, you're going to be 3.5 back. If Seattle loses, you're 3 back. And, it's kind of everything's right there. And, you look at the teams above them. I mean, the Rays have a plus 53 run differential. Royals, minus 18. Cleveland, minus 29. So the Rays play a lot of these teams. The Rays play the Guardians 6 times. They play the Mariners 6 times. They still play Boston. They still play New York 3 more times. So a lot of these teams are on the schedule. But I think more it's who do we think that the Rays, who are the Rays' future for next year? I think Yandy Diaz is in the Rays' future for next year. I think Brandon Lowe is in the Rays' future for next year. Josh Lowe is in the Rays' future for next year. If I'm looking out from, a broad sense, the guys I'm looking at is Pete Fairbanks and Ha-Seong Kim. Everyone else, maybe a Cabby, maybe a Taylor Walls. I'd be surprised if either of them got dealt, but those are the 2 I'm looking at because, Pete has the option for next year. So again, he could factor in next year. Ha-Seong Kim has like a $17-18 million option for next year. I don't think the Rays want to pay that. I really don't. So, it's going to be fascinating to see what the Rays do tomorrow. But, I appreciate all you guys for joining. Make sure you guys leave a like and comment if you're watching live or watching the replay. Remember, wherever you may be watching, we have a few more comments we will get to as we go to Matt again. As he says, should the Rays dump Palacios? He's still hurt. I have no idea when he'll be back. No team's going to take him. He's probably going to be out for the season. He just restrained his hamstring. As I see a comment, new pitching coach. No, Kyle Snyder is probably still the best pitching coach in baseball. But when Kevin Kelly throws 91 right down the middle, batters can hit it. When the Hill guy in New York throws 88 right down the middle, the Rays hitters can't. If you really boil it down, that's what it came to at the end of the day. We have Sarah Parker saying Junior better stay. Junior's not going anywhere unless they get just a boatload. But it's one of those. No one's untouchable. Junior's as close to untouchable, as you can get. But anyway, we're going to wrap it there, guys. Again, I appreciate everyone for joining. Make sure to leave a like on your way out. And we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon, hopefully after some better news for the Rays, hopefully after they tie the series tomorrow. We'll see you guys then.